Hello everyone, it's SK95. Welcome back to more Sonic X Shadow Generations. Last time we beat the final boss of Shadow Generations. And this time though, we're going to talk about the extra content in this game as well as bonus content we need to take care of. First and foremost, additional content here, you can change your modern Sonic skin. In the newsletter for Zega Newsletter, you could originally get a skin for Sonic Jam's Classic Sonic. However, this skin allows you to get a skin for Sonic Adventure Sonic only. Shadow Generations has its own skin in the way of Taros the Hedgehog. This was originally his concept art for the original version of Shadow before he was named Taros. Shadow Generations also gives you access to skill points as well as additional BGM. So yeah, pretty much a lot of bonus content if you get the Digital Deluxe Edition. And let's go into Shadow Generations first. So, like as you see, Adventure Sonic. However, it's just a skin, and it doesn't really have much. It's honestly a pretty bad skin because if he tries winking, his model is not made for it, so as a result of that, guess what? It's not winking. Very odd when you say. There's also some bonus content you get when you beat the game. For this, you get Skill Shop, and you also get access to other skills as well. I forgot to buy some of these, so let's go buy the Flame Shield, which I got originally. And you also forgot the Endless Booster Grab. Time Break is a skill you get after you beat the game. It's an automatic skill that lets you keep it for any character version of Sonic and Classic. Classic Sonic and Modern Sonic can both equip this. It allows you to slow down the flow of time. Now, in essence, it's a good skill. However, I'm going to warn you for all right now, 80 points is a lot. So yeah, it's kind of a pain to try to equip it. There's also another skill we got in the way of Super Sonic. Let's switch to Classic, and then we'll go Skill and create Super Sonic. I'll just use this one. I'm not going to miss much. Super Sonic requires the entirety of your skill points to use. Now let's check out Super Sonic and get 50 rings before anything else. By the way, as you plainly say, it's part of his modern moveset. Doesn't matter if you don't have drop dash equipped. Classic will always have it no matter what. Alright, we have 50 rings now. I can actually show off Super Sonic now. And I'll do it right about here. Unlike the more previous game, Super Sonic loses 2 rings per second. Super Sonic also has a floaty or jump. Well, it looks like floaty, but really it's the same jump over and over. It is literally not increased speed at all like Classic Sonic was back then. It's a basic nature downgrade. It's also pretty awkward to jump with Super Sonic because the quills stay the same super up. Unlike more modern versions where the quills will stay super up. Also, as you notice, it's losing rings far faster. Since 2 rings per second, it's sucky. As a result of that, Classic Super Sonic is not a good ability. It's honestly pretty one of the poor ones. I'd recommend not using it, pretty much. Alright, so we're done with that. I'll switch to Modern, and we'll sell Super Sonic in that one. Alright, we got a lot of rings, and you're probably wondering, why the heck did I end up at the end of this and not do anything? By the way, watch what happens when I turn Super, even though I have that skin activated. It's treated separately, and it's still Modern Sonic. Now, he loses 2 rings per second like Classic. He also has a different boost. 2 seconds. He loses 10 rings per 2 seconds, and loses more rings. Yeah, you fly, but I'm pretty sure, concept-wise, flying is actually worse, because I can't hit anything, and I don't get more score. It allows you to avoid obstacles, but it's pretty much the only thing that gives it. Super Sonic in this game is probably one of the worst versions of Super Sonic that is available. At least with the other version, you have an endless boost. With this one, it gives you endless boost, but a negative downside. you lose too many rings that make it even worth it. So Supersonic, not exactly good. Outright speaking. Now when you beat the game, you have access to different versions of the fighting in the head. For example, you have access to hard mode variations of rival battles and boss fights, including the final boss. Now, the final boss itself and the rival battles I'm going to take care of in this video episode because guess what? It's a bit easier for me to take care of it here rather than later. I will battle you as many times as is necessary. Hard mode essentially increases the difficulty. I will show off each one and cut to each one. So, let's start with Classic. So, the just essentially he goes a lot faster and hits harder. That's pretty much his main change. However, the rings still keep around the area, so yeah, don't worry about it too much. He's gonna start doing different actions a lot faster than earlier. So, for example, now we're on the second phase, technically, where he throws building blocks at us. So, essentially, it's a lot more like action in these ones. In the original generations, these hard mode boss fights aren't exactly the most powerful of the boss fights. Breaking 2 hits, and I believe it also doubles the amount of hits required. You can also smack him before that in the middle of the fight. It's actually pretty funny when you think about it. Uh-oh, he's backing up, which means one more thing. Yep, he does this V Maximum Overdrive, and this time he does it faster. All it does is ramp up the difficulty and essentially give more fighting attacks. That's all it does for this rival battle. Pretty much, not much. So, surely the boss fight shouldn't be should be different, right? I mean, it's a hard mode, right? Right? Surely the good doctor is not going to make it even easier for us, like the original Death Fake robot in this one. Right? Well, I hate to be a bearer of bad news immediately. Well, I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but the only thing that changes is the attacks are faster, and that's pretty much the main change. And he gets up at least several times faster. That's pretty much the main change for this, and honestly, it's the most disappointing change of all. So it's just classic Sonic really getting the shoved down the foot. I mean, they really have not many ways to really ramp up the difficulty for classic. You're probably wondering, yep, the amount of hits did increase. Technically it takes 4 hits originally, now it takes more. I almost said less. No, it's more. It takes more hits to take him down. It takes a grand total of double the hits that were required in the original. Right? Well, not really. In total, it takes 4 hits to force him into the next phase. And then, since the original had 2 hits required in order to knock him into the next phase and end the fight, you're probably thinking, oh, I need to do 4 bombs. Not really. The bomb locations are also worse, as you can plainly see. Wow. Whoa! Okay. Ah. Yeah, he does it faster, so you're not going to get many opportunities to, well, hit him that often. So you're pretty much running him blind. Surely it shouldn't really do need more hits, right? Wrong! All it did was add 2 extra hits to the first cycle. That's all it did, and increased the attack speed. That's all. Well, it's mostly classic Sonic. Really, the hard mode boss fight is barely hard because there's still rings. Also, the requirement to get an S rank is probably a bit harder, but that's pretty much besides the points. Get it? Points. For Shadows, it takes 3 of orbs in order to actually get him to lose the fight. That's pretty much the only change besides him being faster. But that's pretty much beside the point. Really, the boss fight really doesn't change that much. There's also less opportunities to gain more boost gauge through tricks. Yeah, not exactly an easy change for yourself, because if you use tricks to get your boost gauge up, then it's a problem. Also, there's less quick ramps, so yeah, not exactly easy. Ow. Also, Chaos Spear lasts a bit longer on the ground. That's pretty much the bigger one. By the way, when you start accelerating the boost, you can actually go even faster. That's a good trick for those wondering if they get higher boost gauge. There's also no meteorites, so you can't get boost gauge for that. Alright, we got the last one enough to deal with this again. Honestly, it has 9 rings. Nothing changes about your final attack at all. You still get everything else ready, and you have nothing else to worry about. So yeah, you're pretty much fine. The boss fight's actually pretty much a joke when you get to a timing right. As you plainly see, I have 10,000 more points than I need for the score. So Shadow really didn't change all that much in terms of boss fights. So Perfect Chaos as a boss fight really doesn't change all that much. You still have checkpoints in the fight. However, you do not have as many checkpoints. Also, the first 3 hits are the same. However, the third hit in particular sends you in a different direction entirely. We'll get to that when we get to that. However, the main thing about Perfect Chaos is the fight is a bit more difficult. In hard mode in particular. Because as you know, hard mode fights are tough. Tornadoes will actually hit you if you're not careful. Like you plainly see, getting hit by them is a royal pain in the neck. If you get hit by one at all, you're pretty much gonna ask for a death sentence. You gotta find a lot of opportunities to do trick ramps, otherwise you're screwed. Also, if you run into a wall while boosting, you'll lose any momentum whatsoever. This area has a lot of areas where you can actually smack into a wall. Another thing with the fight itself is the areas where you cannot land on. In particular, there's a couple of areas that you really don't want to do. Certain areas in particular are actually probably one of the worst things in the area, but at the same time, you just gotta be careful where you're going. Certain areas you can never get to because of that straightforward way. I'd recommend not boosting around the area because you can actually avoid it a little bit and then you boost at the end of it. This way you can actually keep your boost up and get to the Perfect Chaos' body in order to get hit head with boost. The third hit, as I plainly explained before, is different. You end up on top of the buildings instead of before, and then now you actually go up to a topper area. This means you essentially go past an area that you weren't at before. It also forces you to take the same route you took before if you went right. Yes, this includes the loss of rings. However, you still get the trick ability to use, so you can actually keep going with it. Pretty much, nothing really changes all that much. You just lose the third phase of that whole side of the building wall for side sections. Essentially, there's no 2D at all in Perfect Chaos' boss fight. Second phase, is completely the same. However, there are more opportunities to probably run to get to higher pathways in order to get to areas that you want to get to. If you don't time your jumps right, you actually will be screwed outright if you're not careful. So as you plainly see, pretty much nothing really changes here. Watch. Same amount of hits, same damage. You cannot skip the ending scene, by the way, in case you're wondering, for both versions of the fight. It's just the same. So yeah, not much of a change for Perfect Chaos' boss fight. The fight itself is actually quite short when you think about it. So hard mode Silver is actually surprisingly more difficult. Silver has a lot more validity of attacks, as well as he has less cooldown between them. He also requires a bit more hits. Well, I say a bit, but nowhere near the next boss fight coming after. Watch how fast he throws. Yeah, now you already have an understanding of what's going on. However, the same methods still apply in the boss fight. You're just gonna have to keep hitting homing attack and hit every single one of the targets to actually hit him entirely. Nothing else changes really. However, I'm going to stress this right now. Remember those psychokinesis cuts that were very plainly easy to avoid? Well, I hate to bear bad news, but those things, not easy to avoid now. Also, he will do all three at once, potentially. However, certain attacks are very explodable, like this one. However, it does it faster. See? He's going to do it a lot faster. That's the big thing about the fight. Hey, he's going faster. Still not near his running, still faster than his running speed. Haha! I gotta make fun of Silver's running speed at least once a time. Yeah, because of the speed he actually throws with one target, he's never going to be able to get hit by one target. Ow. Okay. Really, I say ow, but really, I just tripped up. So yeah, right now he's already 3 hits down. Originally it took 4, so yeah, not exactly that many. Still the same attack patterns like this. Now he's doing a predictable attack pattern I can actually avoid. However, here's the psychotic cuts. As you plainly saw last time, this one is taller, and he's going to do a horizontal one and vertical one at the same time, no matter what version. Yeah, if you go fast enough, you can actually hit him while he's doing the one object pull, but it's not exactly the easiest thing to try to time. I warn you right now, it's not easy. There we go. Now, I'm going to need a boost gauge for this. I only managed to get at least a few hits off Silver. Running into objects is actually helping the boost gauge. However, as you plainly notice, 5 hits now, 4 hits now, he does Meteor Smash. Now, you technically don't need a boost yet. You can actually wait on it. However, he's going to do this attack more than once. However, he leaves himself completely vulnerable right afterwards, and he essentially loses. Same as the original fight, not exactly too much has changed. So yeah, you really just see a spike in difficulty when it comes to hard mode fights, but nothing else really changes all that much when it comes to the certain bosses in Tyrell. Rival battles really don't change all that much. So, the Egg Dragoon. How do I say this boss fight positively after its hard mode variation? Attacks are faster, attacks are also more dangerous. Also, you have more spiky paths in terms of rails, as well as another big thing, which is the fact that the Egg Dragoon's 2 hits on the end of the fight have been moved over to the main fight instead of the skydiving section. Really, not much. However, I'm going to warn you right now, the wall jumping section is probably one of the worst portions of the fight. However, there are more opportunities to actually hit him if you want to be careful. If you manage to get actual progress in the fight, yeah, that's actually a really good thing to do. However, it becomes quite apparent later in the fight that it's not exactly easy. Yeah, in case you're wondering, the drill arm can actually be avoided very easily. However, as you plainly notice, I can't get to it. Yeah, unfortunately, the whole change of pace nonsense in the beginning of the fight is honestly one of the worst things in the fight. If you manage to wait just enough, there we go. that first hit on. Now, technically speaking, you only have boost right now. You actually just run normally. However, if you manage to go enough faster to actually get to him, you can actually hit him again afterwards. Egg Dragoon has a lot of opportunities to actually hit him with it. However, it becomes quite apparent that when you get to the wall jumping section, he's moving much faster. Also, you cannot hold onto the walls. I'm going to warn you right now. Do not hold onto the walls at all. If you do that at all, you are actually screwed. Because either you get crushed, or you get hit by those ice balls instead. It really doesn't matter which version you pick. So, yeah, essentially speaking, it's work. Ow.
Time for a change of pace.
I'm already flopping. Great job, me. Also, you only throw fires 3 shots. Jeez, I can't talk today. Essentially, that's essentially the same thing as it always is. That's what it like in the original, and it's always true here. By the way, you can actually interrupt this phase if you go fast enough. Only downside is he does the same things multiple times in a row, and it's never fun. By the way, if you boost a lot, it's not going to be easy against Drill Arm Attack, because that Drill Arm Attack reacts based on boosting. So if you boost too much, you might actually run yourself to getting hit. However, you only need to boost once, just regular boost button. It's already another hit. We already did a couple hits, we still need to get the last few hits. Yeah, the Perennial Fire is not actually a threat because he's not going to do it that often. I didn't get him in time. Darn it, I was trying to get him. Honestly, when it comes to getting him at the end of the highway, or rather the hallway, it's not easy for me.
Time for a change of pace.
By the way, I'm jumping up there because it's a lot easier to actually... Alright, that's it. Mash it. If you get hit at all, I would recommend outright mashing the button in order to get yourself back up to the top, because it only has 3 bullets. So really, your invincibility frames will actually carry you for that.
Here goes. Not bad.
Not bad, you're not... Never mind. Not bad, you're eggs.
Here goes.
Certain attacks, by the way, are completely unavoidable by nature. By the way, they appear to be skewer attacks is honestly one of the most dangerous attacks he has. Do not get too close to him when he does that attack 3 times. If you get too close, he's actually going to penalize you for it.
Time for a change of pace.
That's just my recommendation for all of you because that attack is obnoxious by nature. By the way, he has a separate arm attack where you actually aim at 2 targets at once. No, I am not joking. It sucks. Since he separated his body like that. Gotcha. Now we just need one more hit before this phase finally ends, and I can actually move on to the interesting phase of the skydiving section. By the way, I'm using homing dash in order to avoid attacks because it's easier. Gotcha.
Not bad.
He still has 2 more hits, so I'm kind of stuck with this. He actually increased his hit from the original, so yeah, kind of sucky. If his body's separated, you can actually do another hit. However, it's not easy to get him all the time. And now we're on the skydiving section at least, so this is the last hit I need. However, he's going to do his drill arm attack a little bit faster, so yeah, not easy. He's actually on the head instead of his center body part, so yeah, aim for the head instead. So yeah, pretty much, not too much of Egg Dragoon really changes all that much. Except the speed, except the damage. Yeah, you're just going to be really careful while avoiding a lot of attacks, and you'll be good to go between the Egg Dragoon fight. The Time Eater fight is extremely the same as the original, except far faster and far more difficult. Also, guess what? When you do Time Eater boss battle, no matter what version of the fight you do, you are forced to see the cutscene as well. Thankfully, though, you can skip them. You're also forced to sit through the credits again. I am not joking. The Time Eater itself in this fight is probably the most dangerous Time Eater fight of the game. Only because of unavoidable attacks. Also, you get less rings in the fight. Also, there's a particular method I like doing in the fight. You notice I'm boosting, letting go, then boosting again. It keeps my acceleration going faster. However, boosting also has its own downfall. As you see, my turning ability is horrible.
It looks like a homing shot.
Careful, Sonic. Charge into the core.
You gotta switch lanes, and of course, we're doing this area again.
It's a warping orbit.
Yeah, certain attacks are unavoidable by nature, and you really can't do anything about it. By the way, 2D sections really have a harder time to actually catch up to the Egg Dragoon this thing Time Eater because guess what? It can't be avoided. Fine. Yeah, as you can tell, I was forced to switch lanes again.
To defeat
That looks like a homing shot. Careful,
Those
Sonic.
homing shots are unavoidable in hard mode.
Now we'll
Very unavoidable.
finish it.
That's shot and track. Be
Can I
careful,
please
Sonic.
catch up to the super time meter already? This is getting stupid. I don't know how I'm having trouble with time meter again.
Is something the matter?
There we go. Good grief. Did one hit already. He has the same amount of hits required to actually beat him again. Does not matter what version of the fight, he always has the same amount of hits.
It's attack.
And I need rings.
Look out, Sonic. It's a warping
Now
origin.
we'll finish it.
And I need rings.
Go after
Dang
it.
it.
It'll take more than that.
Yeah, this method is stupid.
Careful, Sonic.
Classic, can you please lower yourself now? Thank you.
It'll take more than that. To defeat us.
Shot and track.
Okay, good. I got some rings.
Careful, Mr.
No
Sonic.
matter what area I get them, I just got rings.
How about
So yeah, the fight itself, horrible, and probably the worst version of the time meter fight in the game.
It'll squeeze you.
They'll still try to squeeze you as well, so yeah, unavoidable attacks are also still present.
It's attacking. Sonic.
Thank
watch out.
goodness.
it'll take more than that. To defeat us.
There you go, avoid it, and you're good. Yeah, mashing this is annoying. Very annoying. Also, you can get one-ups very easily. Laser attack is unavoidable whenever lane you're in. If you switch to another lane, though, you can actually avoid it entirely. It does mean, however, you cannot get your timing up to where you can get closer to the time meter faster.
It'll take more than that.
There are still attacks that are completely unstoppable by nature, and one of them is obvious, and you know fully well what the attack is.
It looks like time energy.
Time energy attack, no matter what, is unavoidable. Switch lanes if it doesn't. This way, you're in the other lane and don't have to worry about getting hit by homing shot barrage. Yeah, it's annoying. A very annoying attack, and it cannot be dodged anyway. You're getting plenty of rings gathered up anyway, so it really doesn't matter in this fight. There is an achievement behind this. However, we're not going to worry about it. It'll eventually switch lanes back to us if it waits in this lane too long.
Now we'll
It's a lot easier to hit the time meter in 3D than it is in 2D because no matter what, the time meter is going to be obnoxious about it.
Is something the matter?
That attack is unavoidable because if you bang against the wall,
Building up. Time will slow down.
you know what? I'm going to make a smart move. Switch lanes. Switch to the outside of this cylinder.
The time flow's gonna go back to normal.
You can actually dupe it to actually avoid it the entirety of the attack, and the laser will actually be unavoidable hit.
Is something
These,
the matter?
there are two attacks as well, such as attacks that will actually stop you completely, but they're avoidable by nature.
That looks like a homing shot.
Homing shot's obnoxious by nature in hard mode, and it does it multiple times in the fight.
Like that shot.
In the third hit, it will actually do a homing shot and then laser. Laser is unavoidable unless you switch lanes. Once you switch out of the lane, by the way, you can actually avoid the entirety of the attack. However, you do get pushed back as a result of this.
Looks like a homing shot. Be careful.
Yeah, the hard mode variation is the worst variation of the time meter, and it drags out the fight far, far, far more if you want to avoid getting hit too many times.
It'll take more than that. To defeat us.
Get close enough, you can actually hit it in this space, if I can get to it close enough. Oh, freaking. I hate when that happens. The time meter can do that where it will try to crush you, fail to crush you, and because you're not boosting, you'll avoid the attack because you have better control when you're not boosting.
Look out, Sonic.
Yeah, it sometimes becomes annoying. And apparently the game was being cheap today. Eggman, of course, likes to cheat because you know fully well that Eggman does not like the idea of not being a coward.
It's attacking! Look out, Sonic!
So, yeah, the entirety of this fight is obnoxious by nature, and no one actually likes Time Eater fight regardless. I don't know why they decided to still butcher the Time Eater entirely.
Get crushed.
Actually, it isn't 2D. I need to test this. Come on, come on, come on. Gotcha!
Yes.
Hang on. There we go. Yeah, I D-locked. Are we gonna do this in 2D?
We'll end it! Burn! Burn to ashes!
Sonic, combine your
2D
powers.
variation of the ending of the fight in the game. Something you rarely see because you hold it. Yeah, the 2D variation, catching up to it is worse. At least got the S rank, I don't care. And you're still forced to watch again credits, so I'll see you at the end of all this. One of the biggest weaknesses of ever defeating the final boss again in Sonic Generations is the fact you have to forcibly watch the end cutscene and then credits every single time. So, thankfully speaking, we're done with that. I don't have to deal with that again. Ay. All the hard mode fights in this game are horrendously bad. And honestly, the Time Eater has an achievement locked behind it if you don't take a hit. It's called if you can't touch this. Yeah. It's only for regular, not hard mode. Hard mode is pretty much impossible. So I might as well talk about the last bit of bonus content we can do. First and foremost, these are, well, a helpful information plot for helpful records. I didn't use it at all because I didn't need to. Next thing is the Sonic Collection Room for his memories. However, I'm going to update this one and this one last. I'm going to talk about this one later because these two cannot be talked about until you complete every challenge in the game. You do, however, have Chow Rescue. And I could have sworn I got all the Chow. Right, wrong file. Sadly, the file I had for the clear file for the game, unfortunately, did not save over. So as a result of that, I lost it completely, and now I have to do the Chow again. There is an achievement unlocked when you do that. I already showed it off, so there's really no point in that. This file is the old one that was used during the moments of, well, going through the game. Now, there is a little Easter egg in the original, but not an Easter egg in this version anymore. Stand still and you see Statue Room. The original had this, it's just a lot of statues of all classic characters. You can actually see what their in-game model is through this. Although, a lot of them are left to be desired. Omega's not even in the game, and this is a lot of one actually was taken from of 6, really. So yeah, pretty much. A lot of characters are here, a lot of enemies, a lot of everything else. No bosses. Everything's pretty much here. Might as well cut out to the original version of Generations. I'll be right back to show off the statue room in that variation. You hold down and hold the same button as well. Enter a passcode to display a character statue. Yeah, you had to enter a passcode to enter character statues, and this method is very, very, very screwy. I might as well show off one of them. I'll cut ahead to that statue I want to show off. So, you can technically find all these statue codes online, and I'll leave a link just so that way you have the statue room codes in the description of this video. So, for those who are only playing the original and not the remake. Remaster on the actual systems. $204, and $390 will give you a Sonic the Hedgehog statue. All the statues are the same in both versions no matter what. The statue room also extends in length based on the number of statues you have. Yeah, pretty much. Nothing changes really, and honestly this secret is only available in the original game if you hold down the button, like I said, and down. It'll be down. You have to hold left and right bumper on your controller in order to do so. It matters for both versions, all the versions of the game in the original Generations. So really, not too much has changed. So I'm gonna head back to the remake of Shadow Generations. So I'll be right back. Easy switching. Never any not easier. So I'm going to actually show off. Actually, no, there's nothing else I can show off. I'm actually gonna end this off. Next time on Sonic X Shadow Generations, we are going to be doing every single challenge one in the game. I will cut to each one of them based on the location starting off and nothing else. So, I think that's it for this episode, and I'll see you all next time for all the challenges. So, technically, we already did the entirety of Classic Era. We did the entirety of the Modern Era, and as well as the Adventure Era. Now, keep in mind that there will be a separate video later in the future. I'm going to promise you all on this one. For every challenge. Alright? So, see you all next time.